Hey, this is Aaron with Aaron G Photography. And a question is posed, why do I need a photographer when I have a camera on my phone? And to that statement, I pose two other questions. Why would you need a beautician or a barber when you have scissors? Why would you need a carpenter when you have a hammer? You see, tools are important, and we want our professionals to be using the best tools they can possibly get. But what's important is in the mind. It's in the mind. It's what that person can do with it. For instance, one time I tried to cut my own hair because I had a pair of scissors, and I had to go back to the beautician to get it fixed. One time I tried my hand at carpentry because I had a hammer, and I had to call a carpenter to come and fix my mess. You see, once again, it's the knowledge, the skill set that person has for their trade and for their tools. Now, I have some good cameras. I got some good cameras because I wanted the best of what I can do. This is the Canon. It's the R6 Mark II. I do have the RF 24 to 105 millimeter lens on there. I use this lens for a lot of things, portraiture and a lot of general photography that I do. Do have a lens hood on it, and I also have a battery pack. It does two things. It has two batteries, so once again I can shoot longer, but it also has the portrait buttons on the side. So I don't have to do this all the time. I can do this, and it actually provides more stabilization. And so that's what I use. Now, this camera right here is a 24.2 megapixel full frame camera. It does a lot of things. You can shoot in aperture priority, shutter priority, program, or my favorite, manual. Now, the tool itself, does that make the person? No. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But it's important that they have something, your professional that you're paying for has the best tools for the job. Now, I love shooting in manual because it gives me more control over the aperture, shutter speed, and the ISO, which gives me a lot more creative control. For instance, if I'm taking a picture and the lighting is perfect, it's exposed according to the metering in the camera, but I want it to accent the shadows. I want to bring out the darks. I can actually underexpose it a little bit, and vice versa. If it's perfect and I want to bring out some more light, I might want to overexpose it just a little bit because of whatever creative thing I want to do at the time. So I will set the camera up for the different things. And I do have two camera bags, and it has a lot of equipment. I do carry two cameras. A couple reasons for that. I carry two cameras because maybe I want to put this lens on one and maybe a wide angle on another lens, such as the 50 millimeter, the Nifty 50. And I don't want to have to take time to change lenses, but also to change lenses less helps prevent dust and dirt from getting into the sensor. So it helps with that as well. But what else is in my bag? Well, I do have, once again, the Nifty 50. This is good for portraits and wide angle shots that I do. And sometimes even real estate photography outside. But I also have for inside more wide angle, 16 millimeter. For those real estate inside portraits, but they want to have more of the background. Do this for marketing sometimes if the client wants themselves and a lot of the surroundings included. And so I'll use that one as well. Also have the EF 75 to 300 millimeter lens, more telephoto. I do have an adapter to make sure I can connect the art body to the EF lenses. And I do have a lens hood for this as well. This is good for more nature shots, sports photography, things that I need to get up and close. Another thing I carry with me is the Canon 430EX3 RT flash. And so this is a very good one, especially when it's going to be a session where somebody wants their images more in the daytime. Instead of taking a photo for them to be proper exposed, but what's going to happen is the lighting in the background is going to be just over saturated with light. And so a lot of times you want to expose from the background, but that's going to make your subject a little dark. So a good thing is fill flash. And so you can bring flash onto it, set it in a good setting so it doesn't look so much like a flash, but just a little extra lighting to lighten your subject. And of course you want to have extra batteries for your camera, battery charger, and batteries for your flash as well. So the biggest thing is, yes, you want your professional to have the best equipment that they can get. But here's the key. Just because somebody has the best equipment, does that make them the best photographer? No. If somebody has the best pair of scissors, does that make them the best beautician? No. The best hammer, does that mean they're the best carpenter? No. And let me tell you a story. When I was in Japan, I did photography. I had my own photography business. We did a lot of model portfolios over there. But we had a guy on base that was also there, and he did photography. Now, he charged, this is back in the film days, he charged $500 for 3 8x10s for their portfolios, and that was it. Well, I want to know how good this guy was. So I knew a guy who actually was a loadmaster with him on C-130s. And I knew exactly what type of aperture, shutter speed, and ISO to take for like midday mountain photos. And so I had my friend ask him, who, once again, the photographer didn't know my friend knew he was into photography and charging that amount of money, what was the best settings for those type of pictures? And the guy, to my surprise, told him, oh, I don't know. I just bought a nice expensive camera because it looks good. I set it in auto and I shoot. The guy knew nothing about photography at all. And so it's important to do that. Now, you also need to be a great photographer and a good editor. Now, when I edit, I try to make things as natural as I can because I want to bring out the natural beauty that God has put in that person to come out. I remember seeing not too long ago wedding pictures, and they actually was on a gravel road, and they photoshopped a pond and the reflections in the pond, so it looks like they were on a bank. Now, did it look good? Yeah, but here's the problem. Years later, when maybe their kids want to go back to the site where their mom and dad got married, they're going to be looking for that pond. And they're going to be saying, I know there was a pond. I saw the pond. I saw the reflections in the pond. Well, no, there was never a pond there ever to begin with. But I also saw an image not too long ago, person in a field by a fence, and they photoshopped a totally fake sunset in the back. Now, did it work actually in this one? No, because you can tell the pictures were done in the middle of the daytime. The sun was shining on the trees behind the person, but yet there was a sunset behind the trees. It did not look natural at all. It actually looked fake. And so I want to keep it as natural as possible. So how do you know that your photographer knows what he or she is doing? I tell you, one of the best things to do, and that's what I do because I love to see the expressions. Through the session, I'll take a few pictures and then I will show them the image from the monitor in the back. I will show them the image and I'll shoot for a while. I'll show them maybe an image or two more. I'll shoot for a while, show them another image. It gets them excited because they're going to see what the images look like even before any editing. And so I like doing that. I told one photographer, I encourage people to do that. And he was like, why? Because they don't want people to see that they're a bad photographer, but a great editor. You see, what we have to be as the goal is be a great photographer. And not only technique, but how you deal with people and how you try to get those natural smiles out, and also be a good editor. But my personal taste is I like to keep the editing looking natural. Anyway, so that's just some of the things about the value of a photographer. How do you know you have a good one? What's important about their equipment? And so thank you for watching. If you like what you watched, hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications of other videos. Thank you for watching. God bless and good shooting.